24 hours ago, I got my period again after a 101-day cycle. So many things happened during that cycle, and honestly, it felt like the cycle needed to be that long. There, of course, were times in there that I started to get a little bit annoyed, a little bit like, okay, where is it? But then when I would check in with myself and ask, well, am I ready for it right now? Until yesterday, the answer was no. "108 days ago." So in yoga, 108 is a very sacred number. I will get into that another time. If you want to look it up, you can find a whole bunch of stuff on it. 108 days ago is when I last left my parents' house. So I always visit my parents during the holidays, and this time I stayed from right before Thanksgiving until a little bit after New Year's because my mom had a surgery. I wanted to be around for that. And at the time that I left, I could feel this kind of toxicity, this energy that I didn't really want to be there was starting to build up inside of me again. And I had just spent most of the year before, so most of 2024, expelling all of this stuff. In fact, I've spent the last 10 or 15 years of my life doing that. But I could feel kind of in that December when I was moving, dancing, or practicing yoga, running, walking, I could feel that I was moving through stuff, but there was something stuck. And I was stuck. I was feeling like I wanted to be giving more. In my yoga classes, I felt like I wanted to be giving more in my Goddess Wolf experiences. I felt like I wanted to be giving more to myself, like I wanted to be giving more to everyone that I came into contact with. And I didn't know what that meant. So I left my parents' house. I went down to Florida for a reason that is also something I'll talk about a different day. Or maybe not. It's kind of quite personal, actually. Anyway, when I got there, I felt, okay, I need to fast. And so I did a 3-day fast. At the end of that 3 days is when my period started for the last time until yesterday. I started a cleanse on that day. I felt like maybe there are some parasites in my body, maybe there's candida in my body. So I'm just going to put myself on this candida and parasite cleansing protocol so that anything that's in there will get flushed out. And I don't know if you've ever tried this protocol, but it is not easy. It is not easy. The hardest thing about it for me was that you have to cut out all sugar. And that includes fruits. That includes all carbs. So all I ate for over a month, for about a month and a half, was vegetables and nuts and seeds and like fats that come from those nuts and seeds. So, coconut oil, olive oil and stuff. I guess olives aren't a nut. Anyway. And I took all these supplements, and to be completely honest, while it did feel like it was getting some stuff out of me, it felt like a big part of what was helpful about it was simply being able to stick to something like that. And then it was seeing how it changed me. It was seeing how it changed the different versions of me, seeing how it changed Davy, seeing how it changed Goddess Wolf, seeing how it changed me. It helped me to connect more deeply to all of my personality, simply because I was being so conscious about something, my intake and my output, right? And so it was in that state that I decided I was going to go and do a Kundalini teacher training. I didn't expect that that was going to happen. I actually thought that right now I was going to be in Miami or somewhere in Central or South America doing more fun and having, going to more parties, but that's not what happened. I went the complete opposite direction, and I went back to Rishikesh for Kundalini yoga teacher training. I went a couple of weeks early. And so actually on the day that I left was the day that, according to a typical cycle, like 28, 29 days, that's when my period should have come. But again, when I think about it, I was like, well, I don't want it to come when I'm traveling, right? And so then I got there, I did get sick. So I had this kind of release of having a cold that everyone around me had. I got it from my massage therapist. Also, not really relevant, right? I worked through that. I got through my sickness. And then when the training started, I thought, okay, well, I don't want to have my period during any part of this training because there are certain things that I'm going to be doing in the classes that are not meant to be done, at least during the first couple of days of the menstrual cycle, and I don't want to miss anything. So I basically revoked the invitation, right, from my period, right? Like, okay, you know what, you had your chance and you didn't come. And so now for these next 4 weeks, you're also not going to come, right? And it didn't. And so then after that, right, so I'm learning all this new stuff. I'm beginning to integrate this new stuff, right? Like while you're learning, you're kind of okay integrating a little bit, but it's mostly just all this new information that's coming in, right? So part of the cycle. And then I left the training and I thought, okay, I'm going to take 10 days to be in Kerala, in the south of India, in a place that I know is going to be very hot, and that I was just going to really begin that integration part, right? To be allowing for whatever was happening before, whatever I'm learning new, to weave themselves together into whatever is going to be my yoga practice moving forward. I wasn't even thinking yet about the other parts of me, right? Like those needed to come a little bit later. Those started coming back as I got back to Goa. So after those 10 days, so I took those 10 days to sweat, right? I spent pretty much all of my time just outside, either doing my yoga practice or sitting and reading or eating or going for walks or just being with other people in the village outside. And it was extremely hot, right? So it was just this kind of like a begin of a release, but in a different sort of way. It was more gentle release, just kind of like gently sweating. And so then after those 10 days, I came back to Goa. That's where I am now. And so the last time I left Goa was almost 2 years ago now. And at the time that I left, I had been kind of in this little situationship, and I kind of thought it was going to continue, but then this stuff happened between us. I found out about these lies and da 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 da. And actually, it was my anger towards that person, my anger towards all the people who've ever lied to me, my anger about my no longer even wanting to return to Goa, that I was holding when then I was running and I injured my ankle. Again, a story for another day, but that ankle injury literally held me back in movement in my physical body, in movement in my travels for a lot longer than I had anticipated. So it was in part because of that I had not been back to Goa in that amount of time. So finally I return here. One of the things that I really love about Goa is that I can be the different versions of me. I have this beautiful yogashala on the top of my building that I didn't even know would be here, but it's kind of not that surprising, right? It happens quite a bit in Goa, right? Because so many of us practice yoga. And I can go and I can dance at parties, and that's normal. I can even go during different times because there are different timed parties, right? So I've even been able to go and then leave a bit earlier and bring that part of me back into the picture. I was able to reconnect with Goddess Wolf because, I'm staying in this nice apartment. There is this kind of sensual energy here that allows me to connect with that. And I can bring balance back, right? So I'm not on this parasite cleanse anymore. I'm also not strictly on the sattvic diet anymore. But I also don't want to, jump to the other side, jump to poisoning my body in all these ways. But yeah, I have enjoyed a couple of drinks, enjoyed some ganja, but not too much, not every day, not even every other day, right? Just really bringing that actual balance. And when I found that balance, the flow started again. And wow, did it feel amazing. My favorite time for my flow to start is right after I finish a more difficult yoga practice. I kind of get this like tiny little spike of energy right before it happens. And so this happens quite frequently that my menstruation will start right after I finish an Ashtanga practice or some kind of harder practice. And so what I was doing was I was doing this warm up that I'm going to make into one of my yoga classes actually, and then moved into a Kundalini Kriya, and then moved into this Kundalini awakening pranayama practice, and then took a nice, long, relaxing Shavasana, and I came out of Shavasana, and that's when it started. And the timing felt so amazing. And what was really amazing was that, like, I couldn't feel it. Not any cramps, or I had a little bit of pain in my back, which had indicated to me that it might start. But like I said, it was such a long cycle that I was getting those same kind of indicators, but the actual period wasn't there. So it's like, I feel like this time it's coming, but I don't know, you know? And then it did. And so then I was like, okay, I am very committed to making this experience my most intuitive and comfortable period yet. So I showered, I went to this place that I've been going for most of my breakfasts, and I thought, okay, I'm going to soothe my womb. I'm going to drink some watermelon juice, and I'm going to have the yellow smoothie bowl, so I'm getting my sweet fruits in there. Sweet fruits are really helpful during the cycle for if you have any kind of cramping. It really does help to relieve them. And so by the time I got there and I sat down, I was starting to feel a little bit of pressure there. And so I ordered, and then I was in a booth, so I lay down and I brought my hands to my womb, and I just focused all of my energy, and I thought to myself that I was breathing in healing, and I was breathing out just all of the trauma. And that's what I thought for a few minutes, literally just until the watermelon juice arrived. It wasn't that long. I just thought, breathe in healing, breathe out trauma. Breathe in healing, breathe out trauma. And by the time that watermelon juice came, it was gone. And I felt really good. I drank my juice. I ate my breakfast. I also had a brownie. I gave my womb not only what it needed, but also what it wanted. I drank some golden latte, right? So got in the turmeric, got in the cinnamon, all the things that I needed to nourish the womb while keeping the balance of also having the chocolate. And then by the time I got back, I felt like, okay, you know what? Now I just want to dance. Now I just want to just really get back in touch with that intuition that comes with being in this part of my cycle. And so I danced. I made a dancing reel for the first time since probably the last time I was cycling. Or 2 times ago, actually. And then this morning, I made this womb healing yoga class that will be shared on my Yoga is the Answer YouTube channel. I actually just finished that. I am wearing this dress. I'm actually extremely sweaty and gross right now because I just finished that. And as I was lying in Shavasana, I thought, you know what? I'm actually going to make this next video for this channel. Now, I had kind of planned, oh, you know, I'm going to put on makeup. I'm going to make myself look good before I do it. And then I thought, why? Right? Like, the whole part about it is like being in this messy phase of the cycle. So actually, I'm just going to be in that messy phase of the cycle and just talk from the womb, from the gut, from the heart, from the throat, right? From the third eye, even from the root, right? Just like talk all the way from the root to the crown. And that's what came out. So I'm going to end it there. That was just my little story about this cycle. Take from it what resonates. Just, allow yourself to listen to hear the message and to hear any other messages that come to you through the message, right? Just allow yourself to learn whatever you need to learn from me, from yourself, from the universe, right? And trust whatever comes is what was meant to come. Thank you for being here with me, for watching, for listening, and I will see you next time. Namaste.